Thank you ever so much. Okay, I think we're looking for a motion to return to open session.
So moved.
Second. Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes, thank you. On this auspicious day, if you'd all join me in the most important thing we're going to do tonight, the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay.
Move to adopt the agenda.
Now, we have
one modification, deletion of 8A.
8A is...
We're going to defer that to the...
Okay.
Interim workshop meeting purpose.
So moved.
Second.
We knew that's what you were going to say.
Sorry, Josh, I should have told you.
Is that a second?
Pappas?
Yes.
Okay.
Girth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes. Sure. Okay. I think we have our good friends from the Street Tree Committee. Mr. Street is here. Oh, that's Paul. Hello, Paul.
Hi, thank you. Tonight, I am honored to introduce members of our Street Tree Committee who will be giving you a presentation, providing you with an update of what the committee accomplished and some of the programs that we offered in 2014, and give you an idea of what is planned for 2015. So tonight in the audience, we have Bruce Burno, who is our chair, Nancy Downs, Paul Brosh, and we have Mr. John Halpin, who will be doing the presentation tonight.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here and be a representative on the Street Tree Committee. Lived in Anderson Township for 23 years and am a native Cincinnatian. And as Joyce Kilmer would say, trees. I think that I shall never see a poem as lovely as a tree. Now, I was taught that in grade school, so I thought you guys might have been taught that as well, but that's how I'd like to introduce the Street Tree Committee from that poem. As you can see, we're here as a committee to promote and support sound tree management practices to enhance the quality of life in Anderson Township. And they didn't show the picture, but the pictures show the quality of what a tree can do for a community. And that's the importance of having a Street Tree Committee, and we're happy that you have us. Whoop. So there you go. And, whoops. There we go. Oh, whoop. See, I should have let you do this. Next one. Okay. 2004 Trees City USA. 2014 Tree City USA. There are standards that we have to be recognized as a tree city in the United States. Standard 1 is a tree board or department, which we have. A community tree ordinance, which we also have, a community forestry program with an annual budget of at least $2 per capita, an annual or an Arbor Day observance proclamation, which we will get. In 2014, we planted 54 trees. We gave away 800 seedlings. We removed 51 trees, so we just about broke even on the trees. Municipal labor hours spent were 793 with a per capita expense of $3.04. Street tree planting program, as an overview for 2014, we were able to plant 54 trees, and as you can see, serviceberry, autumn brilliance serviceberry was the top plant that we put in the ground. These were all put in the ground as a means of serving our community. And let's see if I hit this right. The Arbor Day for 2014, we handed out approximately 800 trees, which we talked about already, to second graders at Forest Hills Local School District and the Immaculate Heart of Mary School. Anderson Township trustees, you guys, you planted a tree, a bold cypress tree, in the center here. The center is now completely booked with trees from us. This was an outline or a drawing with a key that shows where we planted trees through the course of the years since 2009. Purple being 2014, so get your magnifying glasses out. The inventory of our trees in our community is based on this chart here. This chart only represents 20 or more trees within our community. And as you can see, the red maple and the pear are our most popular trees in our community. Arbor Day this year is April 24th, and we'll be handing out seedlings to the school districts, and we're hoping to put out about 1,800. It would be nice. And where you guys will be planting trees will be decided. Heritage seems to be a good place, the Heritage Center, and the date will be determined with your approval. We promote through Taking Roots, a regional campaign for well, you know what that is. And that's putting canopy out there. The street tree maintenance plan is something we're going to have planned for this year. And it's more to try and work up a plan that's already in existence and improve it. The street tree planting, and then we're going to, we hope to plant more than 54 trees this year. And I guess we will do that. As a matter of fact, I think we're going to try and put about 1,200 trees in the golf course up on 9 Mile, Woodland Mile. I think we're going to put 1,200 saplings in, or seedlings. And then we also have our academy. In that academy, we have 5 members of the staff here at the company, or at the township, who are participating. That's a big vote of confidence from the township. Thank you. We also created subcommittees this year, and they are staffed by the members of our committee. And the first one's education and public awareness, and out of that we're going to have a Great Trees program, which means we're going to look for a magnificent tree within the community and have an award. The important part of this subcommittee is it helps us get the number of points we need to continue to maintain our status as a tree city USA. And you need 10 points. And in that particular program, we'll get 3 points. In the partnership committee, we will work with the Taking Roots campaign to try and populate the community with more trees. That gets us 4 points. And then in the planning and management, we'll have to work, we're going to work on helping improve the sidewalk and curb policy. That gets us 5 points. So we'll have a total of 12 points for this new year, which will definitely meet the 10-point requirement, so we'll continue to maintain our status with the U.S. Tree City program. And then we also have a tree planting and maintenance committee, and that was a committee that will help organize and help for planting trees and maintaining trees within the community. So future goals would be to develop a better tree maintenance plan, more education, of course we always need education, increase tree diversity, too many of one type of tree within the community, increase tree canopy, of course we want to keep the shade there. These are the members of our street tree committee. We appreciate everything that they do for us. We appreciate everything that you do as a township to provide us with the service of our staff. That concludes the presentation. Are there any questions?
No, I'd like to make a comment, if I may.
Yes,
You know, when we created this street tree committee, I wasn't quite sure to what extent it would evolve, but it's amazingly, it's been paid a great contribution to balance to our green community. It fills a void, and that's wonderful. It's far, far beyond what we ever contemplated, and I thank all of you.
Thank you.
for doing that.
I want to
Thank you.
thank Bruce for chairing and for Josh for participating.
Good.
As
Thank
little,
you so
as
much.
little as I do. Well, and I also want to make mention that Bruce made a pretty significant donation, right, to the, and I can't remember exactly what it was. Paul, maybe you can, I'm going to put you on the spot, but I'm going to put you on the spot, because it was... Yeah. It was a very generous donation, so thank you.
Thank you.
And of course, the Hillcrest thing is wonderful. Thank you so much for that, Bruce. And the rest of that is, that sits and looks at God all day and spreads its arms as if to pray.
That's right.
Right? Okay. Just in case you forgot it. Yes.
That and Casey at the back. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for
Thanks,
coming,
guys.
guys.
You really knew that. You knew that. You literary giant.
Sorry.
I'm amazed, I'm stunned.
I just don't know the score of the Xavier game.
Right. Here we go.
I don't know the score of the Xavier game either. So thank you, John, very much. I also want to recognize Richard Shelley and Suzanne Klingman. This committee is unique to the township in that it's a partnership between Public Works and Planning and Zoning. And it takes that partnership to work from the planning end and to the implementation end, at Public Works, so we're very fortunate. To follow up on a few comments that Mr. Halpin made, each year we request, and it is a requirement of the Tree City USA program, to declare a certain day to celebrate Arbor Day in the township. And we are recommending that day be April the 17th, 2015, which is the same day that it's celebrated nationally. But we're recommending that the trustees declare that, I'm sorry, I did the wrong day.
You want the
That's the
17th?
Tree City USA Awards.
Which date you want, Paul?
Let's see, let me read this. I knew I would get the dates mixed up. Okay, so on Friday, April the 24th, we'd be declaring Arbor Day in the township, and that is consistent with the National Day.
Do we have a motion?
Josh, you're
I move to adopt a resolution declaring April 24th, 2015 as Arbor Day in Anderson Township.
I second that.
Discussion?
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Earth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. To April the 17th, that is the award ceremony for meeting the requirements for 2014. You all are invited to that, so please let me know if you'd like to go and attend. And then the other activity that we alluded to is the trustee tree planting, and we are looking at the Heritage Center this year for that project in May. We've lost several trees over in that property, and we thought that would be a good opportunity to replace some of those trees that we lost. So, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
I had to take out a ash tree this summer before last. That was an Arbor Day tree that my daughter had brought home, I think in 1974 or 73. At that time, I guess ash trees were very popular to give out as for Arbor Day. So unfortunately, the Boers got it. Thank you, Paul.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. We are going to have, except I lost the note for it, we're going to have a public hearing somewhere. Thank you, guys. We just lost our crowd.
Please come back. Don't go.
Sheila's like, well, wait.
Vicki, for some reason, I can't
I
find
mean, no
that.
disrespect, Sheila, but
3A.
That's what I was looking. I don't have anything in 3. Thank you. Okay, now I got it. Okay. I'm going to open a public hearing regarding property at 7867 Anchor Road, and that's not Anchor, that's Anchor Road, with the following statement. The board has set aside time this evening to provide the owner of record and the holders of liens of record upon the real property located at 7867 Anchor Road in the township an opportunity to be heard with respect to the action possibly taken by this board, or already taken by this board, resolution number 15 0219-06. That resolution provides for the removal of an unsafe structure on land owned by Ricky A. Taylor and located at 7867 Anchor Road in the Township pursuant to Section 505.86 of the Revised Code. Legal notice pertaining to the intent of the board with respect to the removal of the unsafe structure has been given as required by law. If there are any interested parties present who may wish to enter into an agreement with the board to perform the removal of the unsafe structure, please address the board at this time. Well, with that, it appears to be no one here who wishes to address the board on that matter, so I would close that public hearing and move on. At every meeting, we set aside time for public forum for individuals who wish to address the board. We ask that you make non-repetitive points as clearly and concisely as possible, limiting your comments to a maximum of 5 minutes. Speakers are asked to state their name and address for the board. For the record, if anyone wishes to address the board, please come forward at this time. One by two, Ken. I guess there's no one here that wishes to address the board, so we'll close the public forum portion of the meeting and move on to trustees' comments. Mr. Girth?
No comments.
Nothing.
I just want to mention that the folks at Belterra were very, very thankful for all of the effort of our staff, all of you, and are concerned to try to help them keep their place open. As it turned out, the second weekend there was no hope and nothing that could be done, but boy, everybody gave it a yeoman's try. We got a few ideas for 4 Mile area next year that might be beneficial, and the real problem, so that you know what happened, even though it wouldn't have helped that second weekend, was the fact that they had been actively trying to put in these backflow preventers. We're convinced that while the big floods can't be stopped, the backwater that was coming into the parking lot that wasn't coming onto their property at all could abate the condition up to about, 53 feet or thereabouts. So unfortunately, their neighbors weren't very cooperative in allowing them to move forward quickly, but by this time next year, we think they'll be in place, and unless the river gets to 67 feet.
The neighbors are cooperating now?
They have neighbors. Anyway, they have it under control. But it's going to take a while. Anyway, they thank you all. So thank you, guys. Thank everybody, Vicki, everybody regarding the communication. We would hope that the folks at the county understand, since that is a county road. It's very confusing because people think it's a state road, but that section is owned by the county. That they weren't as cooperative in communication as we wish they had been, but we'll talk to them further to see if they can understand. All we want to do is be able to communicate. If we can communicate, we can make things happen. So thank you again on their behalf.
Mr. Jackson, if I
Yes,
may.
ma'am.
Staff have planned an after-action meeting that's going to take place next week to see what we can do better, how we can improve our performance, which is something we do after every emergency
Right.
situation. We are also reaching out to the county, the state, and every other party that was interested to invite them to attend a meeting as well to improve that communication. Our staff has been very proactive, and I'd like to commend them for everything they did to try to, as you stated, to try to ease the impact on our residents and business owners, but we will continue to work with the other entities to try to improve.
As the area begins to develop, and it will develop, it is paramount that that we move forward. The project with the backflow preventers is not just for the benefit of Belterra, even though that's why they're doing it, so they can keep their doors open. They don't get any water inside because the new building's elevated, but that will keep that road open for a lot longer, and that means a lot to the other people when those other businesses are established down there. So
And
thank you.
Belterra is paying for the whole thing?
Oh, yes. Yep. Yes, every penny of it. And it inures to the benefit of the county, for crying out loud. There are actually, I think, five preventers, which was at the final number, because the way the lines come down from off of Sutton and with the water. But, yeah, they're paying for all of it. So, once again, thank you. Fiscal officer, crack fiscal officer, I'm sorry, Ken Dietz.
Thank you. The revenues, expenditures, balances, pretty much what we've estimated. The revenues are coming in slightly higher than anticipated, which we are usually conservative on estimating our revenues. Nothing to get excited about, but $10,000 here to $20,000 there, more than what we anticipated for the whole year. Doubling those first half collections, we should be pretty much on target with those revenues. Trying to hold the expenses down, and we still have some balances in our general fund and our TIF fund, so got a few things to look forward to in the future, but for this year, I think we're in good shape. The other item is, always in March, we have to finalize our final summary budget for the year. We start planning this back in June, July of the previous year, and we came in with a preliminary budget of $36,345,000 9 months ago. Since then, we have some new TIF projects that we are putting online, which we are not going to spend any township monies out of, but we do have to pay the school district. We have to pay Cincinnati School District and Forest Hill School District to the tune of about $900,000 this year. So that is about the $900,000 out of the $1.4 million increase is due to that. We're also getting more money for giving more money to the Forest Hill School District because they passed the bond issue, and they're going to get about $300,000 more. So that leaves us with about $200,000 more than our preliminary budget. And those things are, as you know, we have some nuisance items going on. We have a little bit of increase in medical, just across the board, $10,000 here. You know, we're actually bumping up our fuel or our electric costs because they were more last year than they have been in the previous year. So all in all, it kind of evens out. If you go back to the final budget of 2014, we were at $35,600,000. We're at $37,800 now. That's $2.2 million more. As I said, 1.4 of that is due to the TIF monies increasing. We also received money from the Racino, which we put in the general fund, which we need to spend on public safety type issues down at the down in that area, or that would complement that area. So we're buying public safety equipment to the tune of about $1 million. So as you can see, we're almost at the same budget that we were last year when you consider those items. So, and as you know, we have some pass-through dollars. Mr. Jackson, I think you're familiar with that.
I am. The whole budget system that we have to live with is so confusing. The more TIF dollars that we receive and have to pass through and pay to the school district, the higher our expenses are, because that's treated as an expense. So the better we do, the more it looks like we're spending more when in fact we're not. Almost $10 million of our entire budget is simply money that comes from here and goes over there, and we get nothing from it. So our real operating budget, if that makes sense, is more in the range of what, 26
27 to 28 million, somewhere in that range.
Real operating budget.
After we consider the fact that we're not going to spend everything, so.
Exactly. The other factor, of course, is that we budget these things. One of the reasons we do a summary tax budget and not the permanent tax, or the detailed tax budget, is if we were to approve the detailed tax budget with all the minutia in it, then anytime we wanted to move from this area to this area, we'd have to file with the county and with the auditor and all kinds of crazy stuff. So we approve the summary tax budget. So these are it's just part of the system with which we deal, but it is very confusing to watch some of these things to try to compare apples with bananas, and while they may look a lot alike, they're not alike.
And as you know, we started last July, administration, the fiscal office, people in the fiscal office, and all the department heads met time after time. We did it again back in February of this year. Put it all together. Just last week, Andrew and Josh, yourself, were involved in the process, explained most of the changes. I think we have a good understanding of why the changes are there, and our hope is that we can keep the expenses to a minimum like we have in the last several years, and I would ask your approval for this budget.
Wonderful. I would just say one thing, and that's it, Debbie, I'm probably going to need some new colored markers, because they're about drying up, so thank you. Thank you, Derek. Do we have a motion to approve the permanent summary tax budget?
I move to adopt the 2015 permanent summary budget as presented by Mr. Deeds and as follows.
Second.
Any discussion?
No, but thanks, Ken, for taking the time.
Well, thanks. Thank you. Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes. Thank you, Ken. Great work, your staff, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, Debbie.
Just a lot of people involved in
Oh, absolutely, yes.
making it happen. Thank you.
And Vicki herding cats to get everybody to cut their budgets, it's a good process, guys. Good process. Okay. Law Director, Margaret Comey. Good. Planning and zoning, Paul, did you have anything else? Okay, thank you. The item that was originally on there, we're deferring till the interim meeting to see if there are any options that we have before we've waited this long, so another couple of weeks isn't going to make a difference. Thank you. Sheriff's Office, Lieutenant Matt Guy.
Good evening. I actually have a little bit more than I normally have, but they're minor items, so that shouldn't take long. The first item we have on the agenda pertaining to the Sheriff's Office is a request for a new liquor license. The request is for AED Enterprises, Limited Liability Corporation, doing business as Dewey's Pizza, located at 7933 Beachfront Avenue, and our department has no objections to this new application.
I would move that we not object to a new liquor license request for AED Enterprises LLC DBA Dewey's Pizza, located at 7933 Beachmont Avenue, for a D1 and D2 license.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes. Thank you.
The second item on the agenda before you is a resolution authorizing the purchase of, it's actually 3 sheriff's cruisers. In our normal vehicle replacement, we've been keeping on schedule with 2 a year. However, with contract changes as far as the responsibility of who's paying for the K-9 officer this year, there are plans to sell the K-9 vehicle from the township to the county, which is why we're now buying 3 vehicles to keep us above board. And after these vehicles are all marked up and put into service, then we'll look at our inventory of the township vehicles to see which vehicles have outlived their usefulness, and then we'll go ahead and get those on the market to sell those as well. So these are not additions to the fleet, these are just replacements that we're doing in front of selling them. Therefore, 2 of the 2014 and a half all-wheel drive Dodge Chargers and 1 2016 Ford Explorer.
We discussed this in detail at our interim meeting. We appreciate your effort. Do we have a motion?
I move to authorize the purchase of 2 fully equipped 2014 and a half Dodge Chargers and 1 fully equipped 2016 Ford Explorer police cruisers pursuant to Section 505.101 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Gerth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Item 9C on your agenda, going along with vehicles, we've got a resolution providing the sale of 2 vehicles that have outlived their usefulness for our fleet. The first 2 vehicles are being sold to the Metro Parks of Butler County. They are a 2003 Ford Crown Victoria, which actually is mechanically disabled. I guess they're going to put some money into that. And then the second one is a 2007 vehicle that's got about 109,000 miles on it. So it was time to get rid of that one, but that item is before you as well.
I move to adopt a resolution authorizing the sale of vehicles and equipment to Metro Parks of Butler County, Ohio pursuant to Section 505.101 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Gerth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
And lastly, item 9D is a resolution providing the sale of 2 2008 Ford Crown Victorias. I believe these have 109 and 116,000 miles on them. So they have aged out of our fleet, and we're selling them to the Village of Russellville Police Department located in Brown County, Ohio.
I move to authorize the sale of vehicles and equipment to the Village of Russellville, Brown County, Ohio pursuant to Section 505.101 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Do we have a second?
Second. Sorry.
Perhaps?
Yes.
We have a perhaps. Any discussion?
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Gerth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes, thank you.
And that is all I have on the agenda this evening.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys that were down there, by the way. Matt, if you will, thank you. Public Works Department. Richard?
Just happy to be here, but if you need anything,
No potholes on your agenda.
plenty of power.
Go Bearcats.
Thank you. Go Cats, that's not till 7. Fire and Rescue Department, Chief Mark Over. Same story. All right, you guys are in collusion there.
Go Bearcats.
Thank you. Township Administrator, Vicki Earhart, Steve Severs, and others.
I guess I shouldn't start out with Go UK.
Why don't we put
but-
Steve's name on here? He's here at every meeting. He's usually first.
Mr. Severs has the first 2 items, yes.
And I'm not inclusion, but I'll be brief. My first item I have on here is a resolution with respect to the Downtown Anderson project. This is a document and an agreement we need to enter into with ODOT, and I'm pleased to say that that's just between the township and ODOT. This will be the first time we've ever had that luxury, so it's, we're looking forward to moving forward with just ODOT.
Wonderful. If anyone would like to see what we're talking about here, there are no details to the plan, we're just moving, it is just the preliminary facet of it. But if you look on our
Township's website,
Township website.
under Planning and Zoning, you can view the Downtown Anderson plan.
under the Beachmont plan, I think is a subcategory.
It's actually in its own plan.
A zoning plan, that's what it is.
It's adopted plans, or you can
Good.
view the spring edition of the Anderson Insights from 2014 that has a...
Essentially covers the area from, right now, from the town center to Asbury.
Correct.
That's the plan. Do we have a motion?
I move to adopt a resolution with respect to Downtown Anderson project.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Gerth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Thank you. And the second item I have, in relation to the rest of Beachmont Avenue, is our ongoing relationship with KZF Design for engineering services. KZF has been the township's consultant on Beachmont for the better part of 2 decades now and has been a true asset to us. We have a request to enter into agreement for engineering services for 2015 that would entail some of the work that ODOT's currently doing with their safety project, as well as some redevelopment projects that are happening, and basically being the voice and design firm for the township in those efforts.
I move to authorize the Township Administrator enter into contract with KZF Design Incorporated for Beachmont Corridor Engineering Services, including coordination with ODOT Access Management Project, working with redevelopment projects, and providing technical and mapping expertise as planning and zoning staff consolidate the Beachmont plans in an amount not to exceed $15,000.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Gerth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
The Ohio Revised Code allows the Board of Trustees to appropriate funding to their local American Legion post for the purpose of observing Memorial Day. American Legion Post 318 routinely goes through every cemetery throughout the township to honor veterans, fallen veterans. They have a ceremony there, and then they return to Anderson Center for the Veterans Committee annual Memorial Day bell ringing ceremony. This board has historically authorized funding for this purpose, and there is a motion before you that would authorize funding for 2015.
I move to authorize a Memorial Day contribution of $100 to American Legion Anderson Post 318 for the purpose of properly observing Memorial Day with the township as permitted by the Ohio Revised Code, Section 307.66.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Gerth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes. By the way, Vicki, speaking of Post 318,
Yeah.
they have crowds down there all the time now. That is really encouraging, so I hope they're happy that they made that choice, because it's busy.
It's been busy. Their rental business has been a little bit not up to what they had hoped. They do have a large seating capacity, and they had hoped to rent it out more, but they are doing lots and lots of events. A lot of volunteers down there putting in time and effort to help the post out, so it's been good. The next item before the board is a limited home rule resolution, which would extend our current agreement for public access television with Anderson Community Television through the end of May. This 2-month extension will allow me to negotiate with ACT to see if we can reach a longer-term agreement for providing the services at a greatly reduced rate than what we have been paying over the last decade or more.
And I think the board is encouraged that we're closing in on a long-term solution to this, so that's great.
Yeah.
Do we have a motion?
I move to adopt a limited home rule resolution authorizing Township Administrator to enter into an amendment number 4 to an agreement with Anderson Community Television and declaring an emergency.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Gerth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Thank you. The next item is the annual motion to authorize membership in the Center for Local Government. The Center for Local Government is a private entity that is comprised of 54 jurisdictions, cities, villages, townships, fire district, and Hamilton County. They promote shared services, collaboration, we have a mutual aid pact through the Center for Local Government. Ms. Parker also serves on the Center for Local Government Benefits Pool Group to help in reducing health care costs for member jurisdictions. So there is a motion before you that would renew our membership for 2015.
And you were just recognized, right, for something with this?
Actually, earlier this week, I was appointed to the Center for Local Government Board of Trustees for a 3-year term. So I will be serving on that group. So yes, thank you.
Good. Good honor.
You're going to do that on your lunch hour, right?
Yes,
Thank you.
between midnight and 2 a.m., yes.
I move to authorize renewal of the township's membership in the Center for Local Government for 2015 at an annual rate of $3,825.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Gerth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Thank you very much. There's one item arising from executive session discussion due to the resignation of one of our zoning commission alternates. There is a motion before the board.
I would move that we accept the resignation of Harry Heskamp as an alternate member of the Anderson Township Zoning Commission and appoint Catherine DiBaggio to this unexpired open position as the second alternate to the Anderson Township Zoning Commission for 2015.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Gerth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Thank you. At this time, it is approximately 20 till 7. I would ask that the board recess until approximately 7:10. At that point, I would ask for a motion to retire to executive session to participate in a joint meeting with the Forest Hills School Board and the Anderson Park Board. So if the board would indulge me and recess until approximately 7:10, unless there's any further business.
That's all we have to do is recess, not retire. Is that correct?
Correct, to recess until approximately
Do we
7.
need a motion, or can the chairman just go?
That at 7:10 when they...
We're waiting to
yes.
do that, Maureen. That was my phone.
Which is, you see,
Good. We don't need a motion? We just take a recess?
If you would take a recess,
We're
yes.
taking a recess.
Thank
Yes.
you.